Hello guys, it is Jead and EA trying to ruin Team of the Year before it's even out with this player pick they brought out yesterday. Basically, they cooked half of the entire market, but can we still cook them back? Can we still find some investments in the dips? Let's talk about what we can look at. Let's also talk about what have we got coming on the game. We'll talk about the mess that came out yesterday, but can we look forward and see, is there anything we can invest in before this huge market crash we could see over the weekend? Because we've got to be very careful. If you get this one wrong this weekend, you're going to get cooked big time, right? It's going to be huge for the market. So subscribe if you are new and you want to see that League SBC grind video very soon before Team of the Year. And without further ado, let's jump into it. And guys, if you want to use players like this and just need that little extra boost, then you can get your cheap, fast, and most importantly, safe FC26 coins at eldorado.gg. They have 24/7 support, a money-back guarantee, and you can use code JEAD at checkout to get another 5% off your order. Link is in the description. As you can see, boys, I am no longer 4.6 million liquid. I do have some investments that I have made right now in this risky market, so we'll walk through some of them later, but let's jump into the big controversy yesterday, which was, of course, was the lone player pick. If we get rid of this ratty evoed Hullet, which I have not evoed because I'm doing a Train Yoni evo, you should see all of these loans, right? So basically what happened was, if you've missed it, you're living under a rock pretty much, but basically EA brought out the Team of the Year lone player picks, and what this is everyone got to vote for their Team of the Year with these loans, and you get them unlimited games for 7 days, right? Which means to get them for this weekend league, all of Rivals, all of Gauntlet. You get an Mbappe if you want, a Salah, a Dembele, a Van Dijk, Pateas, Bonmati, or Graham Hansen. It depends who you chose, and some people did vote legit. Some people did vote for the cards they actually thought, but let me know down below who you guys voted for, because I assume it was all of these cards that I voted for here. Vinicius, Valverde, Rafinha, Marquinhos maybe, Van Dijk, mainly Dembele, and Mbappe, as well as Bonmati and Pateas and a few others, right? Basically, everyone voted for the players that were super meta because you get them on loan for a week, especially Mbappe, who's still 1 million coins. You get a 1 million coin player for unlimited games. Now, obviously, it's a week on it, but at the end of the day, it's unlimited games. As you guys can imagine, the fact that everyone gets a free Mbappe for this weekend league, a free Dembele and whatever, these prices got cooked, especially Mbappe because he's the most expensive. But Dembele, we see him go from high 200s down to 200,000 coins, and he bounced back a little bit. Mbappe went from about 1.2 million all the way down to 1 million. He went then back up to about 1.1 million, and then he's fallen back down again. So they're fluctuating a lot. Basically, the thing you need to know is they went down a lot in price. However, because Mbappe is such a big card, it's a 1 million coin player, what you can imagine happened and what did happen was the striker market died. So as you can see, Mbappe went first of all from 1.6 million coins all the way down to below 1.1. If you actually look yesterday, the lowest he got was quite ridiculous. He got all the way down to about 1 million coins flat. Now he's back up at 1.06, but after tax that is about 10,000 coins, 20,000 coins profit. So anyone who's bought him is still hoping he rises more, and I think he could possibly still fall more into the weekend. We're going to jump into investing in him and Dembele a little bit later. I assume it's the biggest question I will get about investing in Mbappe and Dembele, and I'm not going to be boring and say that we can. I actually think there is a possibility we could invest in those cards. So we'll jump into when that might be later, but these are not the only cards that obviously got cooked. It was the entire striker market. I messed around with a winter wildcards Alvarez, if you've seen on stream. I bought this guy. He was up at like 371,000 coins. We then bought him here. We bought him pretty much right afterwards. We bought him at 331, and we had to end up selling for 320,000 coins. Cut the loss before he went down to 310,000 coins. He actually went to 300,000 coins. That is insane if you know how good this card is in-game. Now, the one tip straight off the bat I will give you is do not buy strikers right now. A lot of people are trying to time the lows of these cards. Yes, some of them, and very, very few, will rebound and you'll be able to make a little bit of profit on them. But honestly, buying the lows on these cards is stupid because people are going to be using that Mbappe for weekend league, right? One example is this time Warp Suarez. He has been insane to trade with. And again, he might rebound. I'm not touching any strikers. If anyone's building a weekend league team for this weekend, they've got gold Mbappe and gold Dembele, right? Why would the demand for these strikers pick up for this weekend league specifically if you've still got that gold Mbappe? So I don't think it's worth buying cards, especially the ones that Mbappe is replacing and Dembele is replacing. Now, obviously, all of the market aside just for a second, what do you guys think about the actual vote itself? Because does this mean that for Team of the Year, we're going to now see Mbappe, Bonmati, Pateas, Van Dijk, Dembele, all the cards that are the most meta? Are we even going to see a Vinicius Junior Team of the Year? Now, EA, in my opinion, No controversies, I'm trying to say, but I think they fix it. I think they just fix Team of the Year. I think EA just put whoever they want in and say the vote is the vote. I'm not sure if they can get away with that, but I think they do it personally. They put Rafinha as a midfielder and other cards as a midfielder. They simply did this so they can get more attackers in the team to sell more packs. It's not hard to understand. EA need people on the game right now. They need to sell packs at Team of the Year. They need the money. So Rafinha probably come. I think you'll see Mbappe, Dembele. I think you might see Haaland, although he won't sell as many packs as some other players. So is this just a farce to sell more packs? Well, yeah, probably. Not only that, though, you guys played Rivals recently. Did you play yesterday? How many Mbappes and Dembeles did you face? If you played Champs, how many did you face? Especially at the lower divisions. I think there's a lot to be said right now for what EA are trying to do with the current game cycle, because after the patch that came out recently, a lot of people are not too happy. So let me know what you guys think. I think in general, market aside, it's a little bit of a worrying place, especially heading into Team of the Year. But as always, we're going to try and be optimistic. I'm excited for Team of the Year. I'm excited for some of the investments we could make today. So basically, I don't want to hamper us down too much on the negatives. I want to jump into the other content we got yesterday, but I'll be very quick and not waste your time because we got Marta Taron as the only SBC. And boys, avoid. Okay, there you go. Avoid. She's 5'7". I don't know what else you want from me, but she's 5'7". As a centre-back, she's not going to play too well. She has nice links. She has great play styles. She's very cheap. If you want a good card for your team, avoid. Simple as. I don't think that is too much for me to cover there. And we didn't even get any evolutions, which is obviously the main bit of content right now as we're waiting for Team of the Year. So the pack grind's not changed. The SBC is kind of dead. And the only real content was that lone player pick, but it did move the market massively and leave us some opportunities, which is, of course, nice to talk about. So yeah, let's jump into how the market is probably going to move into Thursday. And I want to cover Friday as well, because I'm not going to be doing a market watch video tomorrow. And Friday could be an insane day for making coins or losing coins, depending on which way you flip it. And just before that, tell me, have you seen a better potential Evo card than the 74 rated Trainioni? If you were there on the Twitch stream yesterday, you would see we're cooking up this Trainioni card. And if you are jealous, don't be too jealous. Don't be too jealous. Everyone can't have the best cards in the game. Someone has to. It's me. I know, shock. That Trainioni card with the Rio, I'm telling you, potential Evos on them too is going to be shocking. Should be devastating. Okay, enough waffle about my Liverpool Evos. I just spoke for about 10 minutes on Trainioni. This is the only bit of content we've got leaked that I think could be coming very soon. It's pretty much the Alexis Sanchez SBC. Do I think the Alexis Sanchez SBC will move the market massively? No, I don't think he'll be as good or as well priced as the Vidal SBC. But what I do think is, be very careful with left wingers right now. I'm going to show you a card I've invested in that is a left winger, and I'm very, very tempted just to sell as a break-even at tax, or even just a tax loss, because of this Alexis Sanchez, and of course, Mbappe can play left wing. So maybe be a bit careful with left wingers. I think if you want to be safe right now, boys, avoid strikers, avoid left wingers no matter what you do, and everything else is actually looking like we could trade it. There's a lot of talk on the market about panic. I think there's potential to buy if you are smart and you sell in time, and that's what I want to talk about, right? The other thing we've got leaked, which again, I don't think will affect the market almost at all, is a new Evo, and the reason I don't think it'll affect the market is because it gives Relentless Plus. Now, it does give a big pace boost. Ronaldo is leaked, and the reason Ronaldo is the one going up for it is this has a birth date requirement. EA have gone woke. I don't really know what's going on. You now have to, try and see if your player fits based on when they were born. I don't know. I think that's a little bit weird. But you know what? I guess you could look at it as a cool concept from EA. So let's get excited. Maybe you've got some old bastards in your club who you can Evo if you've got like Ronaldo or someone else. Again, that shouldn't affect the market too much, so I wouldn't worry about it, okay? Now, the reason I'm actually a bit optimistic about the market and why I think it could be a little bit stable, we could actually invest over the next few days, is because we're not going to get many leaks, right? You've seen people post their Team of the Year nominees and who they voted for on Twitter. I don't think we're going to get too many leaks until the weekend. Now, leaks in this market will be what determine how prices move. What I mean by that is if we get huge Team of the Year leaks about who's coming, SBCs, potential icons, potential evolutions, that's when the market starts to panic. And last year, we've seen a lot of the panic on the weekend as people sold off their weekend league teams with all that panic, right? I don't think we should see leaks properly for Team of the Year for a few days, and I think that means we could possibly invest. The only other thing we've got before we move on to that is, of course, we've got Premier League Player of the Month. Comment down below, who would you actually go for? Why is it the best striker in the league, Hugo Ekitike? Or let me know who you actually would vote for, but you're not allowed to pick Haaland, because that would be boring. Hopefully we get Ekitike or Cherky, but Calvert-Lewin as well could, of course, win it. And if they give him like a huge boost, like we used to get with some of the Jamie Vardy Player of the Months, maybe that could affect the striker market. Jamie Vardy's Player of the Month, boys, if you remember from a couple of years ago, actually cooked the striker market. So all roads lead to Rome, and they also all lead to stop buying strikers and stop buying left wingers, as that is where all the content is pointing to at the minute. So I do think we can invest, but I'd be very careful with those positions. Okay, let's jump into investments or possible investments or just possible things we can be doing on the game right now to get the best out of our accounts and out of our coins, right? So leave a like on this video if these do help. I'm going to try my best, boys, to get as many out across Team of the Year as possible. Hopefully one a day. Obviously very busy because I do sadly have a job. I know, God, shocking. But I'll try and get as many out as possible for you guys. So leave a like if they help, and let's jump into it. The reason I'm so optimistic about the market is because not all of the market is getting cooked, basically. Now, this Callan-Hoglu had an amazing upgrade yesterday. He actually got the tiki-taka playstyle, as well as him getting intercept previously. And he added a really weird rise this morning, right? He went from 50,000 coins all the way up to 66, and now he's up at 70,000 coins. If we refresh, he's up again at 70 to nearly 71,000 coins. I'll be honest, boys, I'm not saying this card's going to go further, but this card is ridiculous. If you look at his playstyles, he has some of the most playstyles out of all the cards in the entire game in terms of how many he has. He has the 3 best passing playstyles. He has the 2 best defensive playstyles. He just has an amazing, amazing, amazing card. So again, maybe just want to use in your weekend league team, but he's up massively right now. And a lot of other cards are as well. Now, a lot of them up because of upgrades like Teo Hernandez and Bar, as well as Callan-Hoglu. But a lot of the cards, apart from those strikers, are moving pretty steady. And I think we could try and get some flips today and tomorrow. Now, if you're on a higher budget, I would still be careful with some of the meta high-end cards, because the more money you spend on a card, the more they can fall, especially if we get some leaks. But I do think that even some of the time warp cards could possibly be investments if you time it right tonight on Thursday night, or even on Friday. How risky is that, right? But I do think it's possible. And I'm going to show you some of the cards, right? This Paul Pogba, if you look, is now up at about 500,000 coins, and he fluctuates a lot. But if you look today, he went down all the way to 470, up to 500, 470, up to 500. And people are going to have to buy weekend league teams, right? Now, what is a cool, or I guess a little bit of an extra investment you can try and make from your coins is try and look for cards that link to that Mbappe and Dembele, right? Everyone's going to be running around with an Mbappe in the team, especially in the lower divisions. And everyone's going to be running around with a Dembele if they've not already got really good attackers in their team, which means French and Real Madrid links could be a little extra boost. Now, I wouldn't go all out on them. It could just be a nice little extra boost when we're looking for these investments. So basically, Thursday night, I might look to buy and sell the cards on Friday before we get weekend league supply. Let me walk you through my thinking. I've told you guys before about ter Stegen when he was 70,000 coins. He's now up at 77,000 coins. Now, I didn't invest. Obviously, wish I did. I think he could possibly even go higher. But I think for him, the buy time could be on the weekend. But listen to this logic, right? No one's going to be opening packs on Friday at 6 p.m. No one. No one's opening store packs. No one's opening saved packs. No one cares about Time Warp Team 2 unless they maybe are a Ronaldo fanboy. But what that means is the only supply we should get on Friday is with Weekend League, and that means that anyone who's getting supply on Friday, it shouldn't come until about 8 to 9, probably even 9 to 10 p.m. for those people who start to rush their champs and finish it early. I basically think that what we could see is for some of the better cards people are actually putting in their team, like Pogba, like ter Stegen. Again, I would avoid Suarez, I would avoid attackers, I would avoid left wingers. They might go up. It's just too risky in my opinion. And any of the meta cards that we know fluctuate well, I think what we could see is they actually have a little slight dip maybe at 6 o'clock because people think Friday supply is coming, a little bit of panic. And a lot of these big cards could then rise into 7 p.m., 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Friday. So if you buy them today on Thursday at a low, or if you buy them on Friday at a low, I think trying to sell those cards at 7, 8 and 9 p.m. on Friday could be an amazing way to make some flips and make some coins before we then head into the big market crash of the weekend. However, I do need to caveat this with, if you buy any cards like this Lamine Yamal UCL cards, and I'll show you the cards I've bought in just a second, everything you have in your club, right? Every bit of fodder, every bit of tradable cards that you've bought as an investment or you're looking to sell for whatever reason, you need to sell by Friday at 9 and 10 p.m. before weekend league supply starts. I think that's when the market starts crashing. Let me take you into the graph from last year because it was very, very scary. This is Rafael Leao's numero FUT card, which came out just before Team of the Year last year. And if you look, right, this guy was an amazing card and actually held pretty steady in the week, right? If you look, this was his average price on Friday, 2.4 million. He's been held in steady price. Obviously, he would have fluctuated within the days, but average price on Friday, as you can see, 2.47 million. Then the Team of the Year weekend happened, and by Monday, he had fell, what is that? I think over 600,000 coins. And he obviously wasn't the only one. This was just a pattern we've seen across pretty much the entire market, okay? So I am very, 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 very wary of holding pretty much everything, fodder, meta, anything, into Saturday and even into Friday night weekend league supply. So I think we can make some really nice flips today. Icons, higher end cards, but I think you need to sell them all by weekend league supply. Right, we're going to jump into them, my investments and why I've bought them. But very quickly, on a low budget, the question we always get is Fodder, because it is so amazing. I made about 500,000 coins to 1 million coins on Fodder this week. We're up to about 4.6 million liquid after the Rios disaster that we don't want to speak about. But yeah, so what we're going to do with Fodder, we're not going to buy now, right? There is an opportunity, if you're watching this video as soon as it comes out, to buy these cards on bids, not just for their price right now. You'd have to get bids and undercuts and then lazy sell them after content today on Thursday and possibly even after content we say, on Friday before that weekend league supply. But that's very narrow margins that I don't love unless we've got a ridiculous SBC that came out today, which I don't believe is leaked, but don't shoot me if it does come out, right? What we're going to do with Fodder is we're going to look to buy on the weekend. I will bring a guide out on the weekend about Fodder, what we're going to buy it for, what rating's best, all that good stuff, so stick around for that. But I don't think right now it's a buy, and the same goes for Team of the Weeks. So instead, let's jump into my investments and why I made them and what we could look to see the next few days, right? So here we are, right? If we go to my transfer list, we've got a bit of a mess of selling, and you've seen this John Barnes before, you've seen probably Courtois before. These are all just lazy sales because, as always, you should make investments and then lazy sell them. So these are my investments, right? I'm getting rid of my 86 Fodder. These are the last few that didn't sell. We made over 500,000 coins on these recently. I've got some John Barnes and Pogba, and I did say before left wings were in a void. However, I did say I have one investment that is obviously risky, and it's John Barnes. Now, I bought some of these cards for around about 140,000 coins, a few a little bit below, a few a little bit above. And basically, that's where he is now. We take a look at John Barnes on the market. He is nothing special in terms of his moved in price. He is still sitting at about that 140,000 coin mark. He's probably gone up a little bit to sort of 145,000 coins, but no movement there. I just think that this card has room to rise. He's fluctuated up to 170,000 coins in the week before. I'm going to try and sell this card in that very small window after Friday as people build their weekend league teams, but before we get weekend league supply. Could I get cooked if we get the Alexis Sanchez? Of course, I understand that, and it is very risky. So I only bought a few and didn't go all in when he dropped low. The other card that I'm more optimistic about is Paul Pogba, because what did I say, right? French links for Dembele, French links for Mbappe. He also has the Dembele league link. He's a very, very rare card. If you look, there's barely even a couple pages of supply on this guy, and we managed to pick him up as low as 455,000 coins. We got one at 465 and we got one at 456. We got some really nice deals on this guy, so we can sell him at the price he currently is at, about 510, trying to get maybe 520,000 coins a little bit later on for this card. We can make 40,000 coins or 30,000 coins per card, which is a lovely bit of profit on 3 cards, right? Could be 100,000 coins profit. And then the last investment we looked at was Courtois, because again, this Mbappe card, right? This Courtois is just Fodder price. 89 Fodder fell from 20,000 coins down to 18,000 coins this morning with rival rewards. So I bought him for Fodder price. A lot of the Div 7, 8, 9, 10, no offense if you're in them divisions, but a lot of you guys have got Mbappe for the first time and you need links to him, right? What's the easiest way to link a card? The goalkeeper. Who's a really good goalkeeper? Thibaut Courtois. He is not 6'7" in real life, is he? That is mental. Anyway, he's 6'7". He's an amazing goalkeeper. So I'm currently trying to lazy sell these at 22,000 coins. Do I think he could be a good investment? Yeah, I do, to be honest. I think we get, a big pick, like an icon pick or something. I don't think we're going to get one, but if we get a big SBC Thursday or Friday, who knows? 89 Fodder itself could be amazing. And no one's opening packs. Who is opening packs right now? Who is going to open packs on Friday? So I think him as an investment for that Mbappe link would be great. I think, again, with the caveat, sell this card by Friday, 9, 10 p.m. UK time, because then we get weekend league supply and who knows what happens. Right, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe if you are new. Tomorrow, we're going to try and get more of a low-budget trading guide out, which is how I'd try and make 100,000 coins a day if I was on a low budget, to try and be able to afford to buy one of these Team of the Years, or just have some coins in the account for Team of the Year next week. Let me know down below what you guys think of the Team of the Year loan player picks that EA have brought out. I think it's an absolute mess, but maybe you guys are enjoying going around with the gold Mbappe that you've not got to use this year, and maybe you guys, actually think it's a good thing. Let me know who you voted for, all that good stuff. But like always, boys, until next time, I'll see you all in a bizzle.